Hey there everybody, Joe here. Thanks for tuning in again. So I'm going to continue where I left off on the last video and work on this area where the water is coming down from this fall, and then I want it to come all the way out onto the floor down here. So I'm going to pull just the colors I need down onto the floor and work from there. So black, yellow, red, and white. I got myself a new brush since the last video because that one was driving me crazy. So what I'm going to do is make sure I can see my underwater color at the closest part, because that's where my vision would be the most at the 90-degree angle to the surface of the water. I would see the least amount of reflection because of that. I'm going to start by just putting black on here. I know that I want it to be a dark color because it's in the shadows. Now, I used a lot of yellow up in here, so I think it'd be a good idea if I stayed consistent with that color scheme. So that makes kind of an earthy green color. I'll start by putting that yellow in there and making a gradient that blends up into the black. Yellow. A lot of the time if I have a really big mural, then I'll use a 4-inch roller to do a thing like this, where I'm putting a lot of color on and not a lot of detail. Alright, how about a little red in there? I think that's pretty extreme on the green side, so I'll go all the way down to the top of the baseboard. And then at the end of the job, you know, I'll pull the drop cloth away and just paint the baseboard itself with some basic matching colors to the rest of the mural. Alright, let's blend some of this black in right here. Black. You can see that I like to repeat this pattern of putting the paint on the wall, then blending. It's a natural habit to go straight to the blending. You know, it's a natural habit to go like this and then start blending it in. If that was the only color I needed, I would definitely do that. But if I know I'm going to be mixing multiple colors, it's good to build a habit of putting them on first and then blending them, so they don't dry when they're in that heavy blob that you first put on the wall. Let's put more red there. Now this makes me wonder what I'm going to do with this tree. Let's put more black. I'm going to go ahead and paint the switch plates too, just cover them right up. Oh, that one's already painted anyway. There we go. How about a little more red in this color? Just a little bit will be good. I have my water over here on the left side. I just do a quick little dip in there to make my brush keep moving quick, you know. I don't want the paint to start dragging. You can feel it. You can feel it drag. Right now I'm keeping the bristles on the wall, just moving in circles just to mix. It's just for mixing. And then I'll go back over that with these horizontal strokes. Yeah, that's starting to look the way I want it to, and maybe I can start putting just some basic wave shapes here. So I'm going to put the reflection. This is reflection, but it's dark. Right? So I'm painting reflection on this water that is reflecting some of these darker shadows here. It's going to mix. I'm not going to leave it black like that. It's going to mix. I'm slightly tilting it down to the left here so that it looks like flowing water. Each stroke I'm trying to slightly tilt. Now I'm looking at this in an angle, so I don't know if I'm doing a great job. But that's the goal, is to slightly tilt each stroke. This technique is real handy for this too. Doing this soft reflection, you know. Just skip over that real quick with a brush that doesn't have a lot of paint in it. Put a little more of this dark color in there. Now I can always put other colors on these established reflection areas. I'm going to start just with the dark. Let me get an angle right here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I might go a little bit down to the right also, so let's put some more in here. Let's take this black color and do some more that are kind of barely tilting to the right. Down to the right, so might look like crisscrossing wave patterns of flowing water, you know. And then as I get higher, I want it all to level out. By the time I get up here, I want it to be a lot more consistently horizontal every stroke. Here. See, these strokes I'm doing now, I'm tilting this way a little bit. The ones I did before, this way a little bit. And the crisscross patterns it leaves resembles the flowing water of a stream, where the waves bounce off the edges, come back to the middle, they cross each other. Alright, and I'm just going to kind of obscure the details by doing that blending technique over the top. There we go. Another way to do waves is to do the color over the dark. Do the reflection color first, then paint the color faces of the waves that are facing me over the top. So watch, I'll just do some ovals. I'll complete my gradient by putting that black in there. And this paint is still tacky enough, still wet enough that I can probably do that technique. So I'll mix a color here that is yellow and a little bit of red. It's going to mix with my black. I already have black in my brush, maybe a little more will be good. And I'll just start making little waves here. Now I'm not going to tilt these either way. I'm not saying it wouldn't look good, but they're up here, and I'm just choosing to keep it simple and just put these going straight sideways. It's okay if you have some that touch each other, overlap, make bigger, more complex shapes. But I do want the shapes to get smaller as it gets up in here. Like this. Now that looks like a real light color right there, but when it gets down here, this looks like it might be lighter than this, but I don't think so. It's about the same as right there, and if I come down here, it's a little bit darker than what's there. So it's going to blend right in as I come lower and lower, making the shapes bigger. It's just going to disappear into that. And I'll put this over areas that are already light to help transition my two different techniques into each other. Alright, now let's do that same. See, I dry my brush out and just lightly and quickly go over it like this. Sometimes it works great, but other times I've done it and it didn't work so good. Now these are not the reflection areas. This lighter color I'm putting up here, these are where you can see under the water. Here. So later I'll come back with some lighter colors to add over these more black areas to make the reflection look more realistic. For now, I think that'll do it. Until I figure out more of this picture. I've got a little bank coming down here that I want to do something with. So that's probably going to have, I want to put some sun striking that. That'll be cool against this dark piece right here. So why don't I do that next? Okay, now I've switched to my little brush, and you can see I've already got a little white in it. That's not because I was painting off camera. I was seeing if I was going to be able to live with the destroyed shape of it. It's still working, so here I go. Now I did this once, but now I'm doing it again because I redid my tree. I think it'll be fun to start putting a background in here. So I'm just going to put all this paint on the wall and do something a little more fun. Alright, then we want white. This is that bright background in there. Let's get some more of that white. Big blobs, because we don't want to be killing time going back and forth dipping for paint. Alright, we got blue, we got white, we got yellow. Let's put a little more yellow right in here. And then we got blue, and here we're going to want black, maybe some red. A little bit of red will be good. Black. Whoa, I caught that. That was a nice catch. Ugh. Might have been a little heavy on the black. Alright. Let's get a background made. One more blob of that white. Okay, we're just flicking paint all over the place, probably getting on the carpet. That's going to be my bright background, bringing that right up to the tree. This is going to be where some deep forest shadows start in. And of course I've got to have more of those pine trees. Somehow I got to figure out how to do a better job painting those. I mean, I know it ended up looking good. I mean, I know that, but it just took me forever. I just think there's probably a better way. All right, let's put some leaves up in here. Let's take some of that black and put some darker leaves right here. Here we want to kind of obscure the background a little bit, or blur. How about some more yellow? Take some black. Yellow leaves. Okay. See, this is yellow leaves in the shadow. Some of the shadowed yellow leaves. Then we'll put. We already have the bright yellow behind. Then we can put some green in there. Use that blue. And black. Painting these shapes is a lot easier than trying to paint a bunch of little pine needles. I'll tell you that. Let's get a little bit more yellow in there. Alright, then down here, we'll lay off of that area up there for a while. I don't like the way that looks. Just blur it out. This is that rock. That's why I need that red in there. I almost tipped over on my stool. Need some of that green, so we'll just say that there's something brown back there. Alright, then let's get white. Start making the sun shining through the trees on this rock. Put some bright spots back in here. And here. Okay. That's nice to see that other side of that tree start to get laid out. Give that guy some dimension here. Let's grab some of this white and put it right in here. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's do the back of this tree while we got that color. Might look neat to make the back side of this tree not be just black, but have that color in it. Let's put that there. Yeah, it's convenient that I have that color in my brush. I can just use it on the edge of that tree. Get a little more of that pure white. Maybe some yellow too. There, make it brighter there where it's facing up. Then we want a lot of that white coming over here to the bright side. You can see the green in my brush, but I'm just going to leave it there because it looks kind of cool on that tree. You know, shadows, this just goes to show how shadows that have some bit of color to them tend to look a lot more interesting than shadows that have just gray. A little bit of color in my brush makes this tree look so much more alive, so much more lifelike. There we go, nice bright edge. When I feel like the color is right in my brush, I'll just come up and make a shadow somewhere, like a tree branch shadow, you know, just those real subtle shadows I was working on earlier. Probably wouldn't have them down here though. It's going to be fun putting the black rings around this tree. It's really going to make that one look 3D. I like that green. It's almost like a thin moss or something on the tree. A little bit of a greenish hue. Works good. Then we just want green on that edge, where that green light's hitting the tree. Get some of that white. Just get my colors blended. Alright, now we're ready to do the rings on this guy. I feel like now I need to fatten up the rest of the tree. So I'll do that. I went and made the base real big, and I really like the colors on it. Just using up the bright white on my brush right here. Then when it turns gray, I'll come over here and use it to do the backlit portion. And just widen that tree right up. Man, look how the green in that bark just makes it sink right into that picture. A lot to be said for pulling that background color onto the edge of it. It doesn't have to be done, you know. You can highlight the edge with a non-background color. I mean, but it really does help the thing to look like it's really in that picture. Having that background color on there. There, that looks better. Just a little bit wider. Make the proportions look a little more natural. Oops, stuck my hand in the paint. Need some of that yellow. Let me borrow that. Alright, then we'll come over here. Do our bright white. Let's just start painting up there. How about? Just kind of round out that shape there. Whew, my arms are getting tired. All right, cool. So I just did the same kind of pattern up here, just carrying it up onto the ceiling now. Now I'm gonna rest my arm. Okay, let's take a look at some comments. The Khan says, greetings from Tasmania, Australia. Cool. Thank you. He says, I suppose my main problem with painting is I'm a bit timid with the brush. I don't know where to add the paint or how, but you've given my brush the courage to just experiment. Thank you. Well, thank you for that encouraging report. I'd love to hear it. Regan Bogan Tabi says, greetings from Germany. All right, thank you. Heidi, oh man, how do I say this name? Heidi Villarreal says, impresionante tu forma de pintar. Saludos de Sonora, MX. Thank you. Very inspirational and informative, says Tristan Bothwell. Thank you. Greetings from Toronto, Canada. Joe, tu trabajo muy bello, says Luis Alvarez. Thank you very much, Luis. I wonder if that's supposed to say muy bello, because the R is kind of close to the I. Nah, maybe not. Matt Nicholson says, I'm curious about your opinion on the archival quality of acrylic latex-based paints, since you have a unique perspective. You know, I'm really unsure about that, but you know, in a short time, you can observe that they do well at holding color under ultraviolet. So I would think that over the long term, they would do as well, if not better, than the old oil paintings in color fastness. But they also, you know, like when you look at an old house that's been painted with acrylic latex paint, it definitely flakes off sooner than an oil-based would. So in hardness, I'm not sure. But I think that is a lot due to being on wooden surfaces that change shape with weather. So if I had to guess, because I haven't lived for 100 years, I would say they have excellent long-lasting archival qualities, being less acidic than oil and having good resistance to ultraviolet rays. I mean, I am pretty much just making my best educated guess. Nancy Pizzagno says, you must be in a different part of Arizona because it is not cold here by Phoenix. Yeah, definitely. We're at 7,000 feet up here in Flagstaff, right by the highest point in Arizona. The San Francisco Peaks, Humphreys Peak, I believe, is the highest, 12,600, maybe close to 13. Yeah, 12,600, I think, is the highest peak. So we get cold weather, we get snow, and it's getting cold these days. We've had a beautiful fall, man. I mean, it's only getting cold at night. Tons of Vanarchy says, I can't wait for the colors video. Don't forget to put the reflection of the two trees in the water. All right, it's very good of you to notice that. Cold Bras says, Joe, I found your channel a couple months ago, and I can't tell you how much you have helped me as I am starting to do murals myself. I know you don't get much snow down in Arizona, but I'd love to see you and your colored theory tackle a wintry scene. Much love from Detroit, my friend. Stay fresh. Keep killing it. God bless. All right, thanks. Thanks a lot for that. And I do want to do a wintry scene. I have footage of me doing a winter scene. I just haven't posted it up. I did it without any audio, and then I never explained what I was doing. But I have officially painted one winter scene that was in this collection. That was hanging in the gallery here in Flagstaff for a little while. So now it's just leaning on a wall in a pile somewhere. So better do something with that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Definitely keep it in mind. The Art of Stephen G says, love seeing these pop up on my feed. It's funny because I'm always doing art, painting, sketching, sculpting late at night, and I watch your videos to make it feel like I'm doing art with someone. Sounds weird, but it works for me. LOL. Can't wait for the next one. Well, thank you for that compliment. And you know, that's why I still like radio, because it feels like I'm listening to music with someone, because I know that, you know, radio is live and people tune in and we're all listening to the same song at the same time. I mean, there is some psychological value to that. It's nice to feel like you're doing something with somebody. I agree. So thank you for mentioning it. That's all for now, and I want to thank you for tuning in again, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week.